Welcome everyone, today I have a new guide for Diablo 4. So in this video, I want to spend some time looking at the new Season 2 Vampiric powers. And this was revealed in the previous developer's livestream. If you guys haven't seen the livestream, I'll give you guys a link for this one. And we have had enough information on those powers. So this video will be broken down into several parts. The first part, I'll briefly summarize how this power works and also how to get it, how to make use of it, how to activate this way to get most of your powers. On the next part, we'll briefly theorycraft on how to craft your powers and what is the best way of getting those powers, and whether this can be done during leveling. And finally, we're looking into how many maximum packs of powers you can have per armor, because you can see some of those armors have 3 out of 4 packs, some other of the armors have 3 out of 5. It is likely we can get even more of those powers, and how to get most out of those powers. Now if the video is not too long and hopefully my voice is okay, then we'll briefly go through all the 22 powers to see which one's the best for our class. So let's start with how the Season 2 Vampiric power works. In Season 2, there will be 22 generic Vampiric powers that is available to all 5 of the classes. In order to activate those powers, which can be inserted into the character slot over here for the additional effect on abilities and also on skill triggers. Now in order to make use of those powers, what we need to have the activation for the cost of the powers. The powers are split into minor and also major powers. The minor ones cost 1 to 3 activation blood packs, and the major ones cost 6 blood packs. Normal gear that is available in the game will have 3 categories of those powers, include Divinity, Ferocity, and also Eternity. And you can see this particular glove showed in the example, item power level 600 will give us 3 out of 5 of the packs randomly, I believe, and this one give 1 of each. So having a glove like this, what we're looking at is we're looking at 5 different armor pieces, and if each of the armor pieces give us 3 packs of powers, we can have a total of 18 powers to be activated to provide us with skill activation for the Vampiric powers of the skills. Now coming back over here to see the Vampiric power of the skills, I'll have the link available for you guys to see all the 22 of those powers. Some of those are really good for the companions, for the summons, others are really good for the cooldown reduction and also extra damage and also lucky hit chance. Now over here, just as a brief explanation on the new Vampiric powers. So it is said over here, those Vampiric powers will provide us with one of the Vampiric curses, up to 8 of those. And this allows us by activating the skill tree on the defensive macabre agility section of the skill tree, and then killing enemies to provide us with stacks of the souls. Now in order to have and also to change around the Vampiric power pack on the gears, we can remove any of the packs on the gears using certain items, or we can add certain powers onto the pack. We can add packs onto the items. For example, this gear have Divinity, Ferocity, and also Eternity. We can remove all of that, and using certain items, we can have 3 stacks of Ferocity, or even 5 stacks of Ferocity, I believe, on one of the gears, if you're happy to use your consumables on those particular pieces. Those will come a little more rare, and it is likely we'll use this on item power 800 plus gears, and maybe even much better gears, because initially we'll start to use whatever the gear comes with a pack of powers, and later we're gonna start to change the gears. We're going to kind of clean them and also to adjust them to our liking for different powers we wanted. Now in order to make it not too confusing, so basically as a summary, in Season 2 you have a bunch of vampire powers. In order to use those vampire powers, you have to unlock them through seasonal activities and also through different quest lines. Some of those will come for free initially. But when you have those powers, you can't use them. You need to have the blood power packs available from the gloves or from any of the defensive armor gears pieces to have the pre-requirement to activate those powers. And once that is done, once you have those activated, then you can make use of those special abilities and get a bunch of special effects. Even getting a cooldown reduction and also damage bonus is very good for just 1 divinity. Now one of the best ways of getting those armor packs and blood powers and also any of the consumables is going through the seasonal events and also dungeons. During the Season 2, you have a field that is covered in kind of greenish color, and this field will have monsters similar to the Helltide. And once you kill the monsters, and also you can find materials that will bait additional monsters to come to you. And these will also have vampiric catches. So this is like a vampire Helltide. But during those kind of, seasonal events, you actually won't lose your currency materials if this particular zone disappears. So in Helltide, if you don't spend your currency, they will be, they'll be reset after each Helltide. But in those zones, you can save your materials and also any of the currencies you have in those zones to be used for later. By claiming those zones, you can also get Hunter's Acclaimed reward, which include item catches, legendary gears, and also more vampiric powers to be used for later. So here is a screenshot of the Hunter's Acclaimed. You can see initially you'll be getting some rare items. Later you'll be able to get legendaries and also different vampiric powers that is available in the game. Now, we mentioned earlier, there are two categories of vampiric powers, and the minor ones is 15 of those, and 7 of the major ones, which cost 6 blood packs to activate. So let's briefly have a look at some of those. So the minor ones, some of the interesting ones are going to be the one that gives all the class benefits, like the cooldown reduction over here is really good for 20%, and also to be able to do more damage. So Anticipation is going to be a general, vampiric power that can work for most of the classes. Now for certain classes like the Sorceress and also Necromancer, your Conjuration and also Minion spells that deals more damage and also provide you with more abilities and lucky hit chance can be really good. So the Coven Flame and also the Feed the Coven is not bad for those class. And similarly, if you find your enemies to be crowd controlled a lot, you can be dealing more damage with Domination. I probably don't need to go through all of that. So what I recommend is have a look at the powers with the minor ones, which there are 15 of those. Notice that they will cost different things like Divinity and also Ferocity. What you want to initially do is you want to pick a few powers that only cost 1 or 2 in each of the categories. So I'm thinking of picking Anticipation, maybe Ferocity, and a few of those that is categorized in different power categories to start off my list of collection of vampiric powers, because those will be very cheap to find and very easy to activate. Later on, I'm going to tailor-make my build to get the best powers out of it, right? Now, if you guys are going for the major vampiric powers, there are some really good ones as well. For example, the Metamorphosis. This one will require 2 of each of the category of the Ferocity, Divinity, and also Eternity. And this gives you ability to become unstoppable, turn into bats, and this will allow you to curse enemies on your way. So these are some of the generic powers that can be very good combined with other ones. And do keep in mind, because the cost of the major vampiric powers in activation is going to be 6 blood packs, this will be a bit of the maths and a bit of the calculation for each of the classes. Now, in order to help you guys with a bit of understanding to this one, so after looking at the live stream and also looking at the available information, so it is likely we can have up to 5 different activation of the vampire powers. So what I'll do is I'll come over to this example, and you guys can see over here during the live stream, you can see one of the examples. You can see 4 of the vampire powers that was available over here was activated in this screenshot. One of those was not activated because the current character lacked the sufficient of the requirement for this particular blood pack. So I do believe we can activate at least up to 5 of the vampire powers. And this can be a combination of the minor ones or the major powers that is available in the game. Now, the second thing I want to notice is that the availability of the maximum amount of the blood power on the gear is determined by the item level. So you can see for item level 600, this gear have a maximum to grant you 5 packs of powers. And over here, you can see the weaker gears, the item level 500 gear, 530 gear, have the ability to grant us 4 maximum pack of blood powers. Yes, you can get to the maximum pack by using consumables, but you cannot go beyond that. So currently, from the examples in the live stream, we can see 600 item level, 5 maximum packs. And having 5 different armor pieces, this translates into that, 5 times 5 is 25 minimum pack of power that's available. Now, if you're a player that want all the major vampiric powers to be activated, to activate 6 or 5 of those with the cost of 6 packs, you're looking at the cost of 30 packs to activate those. So we're 5 short on this. And this is just a start, of course. So what you want to understand is it is likely you won't be able to have all the major powers. Even by combining the minor and also major powers, you might still be short on those. So it is likely we're looking at least 3 minor powers plus 2 major powers to be in a comfortable zone in the early to mid game. And in the later game, you can look into yourself having maybe 3 or 4 major powers and 1 or 2 of the minor powers, depending on what your class need and also what your build need. Now finally, one of the things we should notice is that most of the normal gear that comes out by dropping the items on the ground starts with 3 Vampire Pack powers. So notice it's 3 out of 5 over here and 3 out of 5 or 3 out of 4 over here. And this of course is out without using consumables. So if you don't plan to use consumables, which I don't recommend in the early stage of the game, you're looking at 5 times 3, so let me type this out. We're looking at 3 times 5, which equals to 15 Vampire powers. And if we were able to get the minor ones, we can get 5 of the minor ones. But if you're able to get the major ones, you might have to settle for 1 major one and maybe 3 of the minor ones. So this will limit how much of the Vampire powers we want and can use in the early stage of the game. But once you get to the much later stage of the game, this won't become a problem. Now hopefully I didn't make the video too long and too confusing. So basically what you guys want to do is, during Season 2, you want to come over to zones like this, you want to kill the monsters, get all the currencies for the Vampire powers, get items, get blood consumables, and get as many collection of the item that have different pack of powers. Now don't be too worried if you get the wrong ones, that you don't need them, because you can easily change those with consumables. But it's likely you want to save those consumables for the mid to the late game. And once you have enough gears that provide you with at least 3 Vampire powers on each of the gears, you're looking at 15 powers or 15 packs to be activating your Vampire powers. And this in return should power you at least 3 to 4 different powers. Depends whether you want the major ones or the minor ones. And if you're a little short or a little unlucky with what you want, then you can still use the pack of different powers to boost your powers. Because for most of the gears, you start with 3 out of 4, 3 out of 5. You can still alternative and also adjust for one of the things you're missing for those particular powers. Now because Season 2 is not out yet, we haven't done that much testing to know which is going to be the best Vampire powers for different build. But generally guys, if this is the generic power that provides you with common ability reduction, damage increase, then this is really good. So something like Anticipation can be really good for most of the class and most of the build that use your ultimate. And in the future, we'll have another video on ranking which of the best powers for different class and also different builds. Now, if you guys haven't subscribed, it is a really good time to do so, because I'll be covering tons of Diablo 4 related topics and also videos and also guides. We'll be looking to the top meta builds, non-meta builds, leveling up, and also Paragon tricks. We're also looking to the latest events and also official updates, and also changes to different characters and also different builds in the game. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and also turn the notification on, because a lot of you who are watching the videos have not subscribed. You can see 80% of the viewers who are watching our videos have not subscribed, so make sure you subscribe to stay tuned for the latest update for Diablo 4.